Hi, I'm Nine, and welcome to The Gist. The Minnesota Court of Appeals ruled that a transgender high school student can bring an equal protection claim under the state constitution after his school denied him access to the boys' locker room. The student, identified in court records as NH, attended Coon Rapids High School for 2 years, during which he was on the swim team. The school waffled on whether to allow him to use the boys' locker room, and at one point threatened to discipline him for not using the separate locker room the school district called enhanced privacy. The original complaint filed in February 2019 alleged that being singled out by the school district led to 2 hospitalizations for mental health issues. One which happened after a public debate during which a board heard testimony from members of the public affiliated with hate groups. Those incidents, the complainant said, led his parents and care providers to send him to a different district to finish high school. After the ruling was released, NH said, "Today's decision makes it very clear that segregating trans students doesn't just dehumanize us, it violates our legal rights. I never want a student to experience the discrimination and cruelty I experienced from adults at my school." A public school in Fort Wayne, Indiana has issued an apology to a transgender student after misgendering and dead-naming her on their homecoming court ballot. Grace Grabner was horrified to see her dead name listed under the Homecoming King list that was distributed around Carroll High School. Though the high school senior has identified as female for the last 6 years, it has been reported that her gender hasn't been updated in their computer systems and it is still listed incorrectly on her transcripts. Grabner called the incident degrading and even considered switching schools afterwards. Northwest Allen Court School says the error was an honest mix-up but took full responsibility for the situation in a formal apology. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, has announced today emergency funding for some of the LGBTQ+ venues hardest hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. 11 of the hardest hit venues across 7 London boroughs have received grants from the Mayor's Culture at Risk Business Support Fund of in between £5,000 and £23,000 to help in the short term with rent, staffing and supplier costs. Further City Hall funding is set to be given out to venues in the coming months. The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, said, "I am so proud to be the mayor of a city which embraces openness and diversity. The pandemic has a significant impact on our LGBTQ+ venues, which we know play a vital role in supporting the community, acting as a safe haven where they can feel comfortable and free to be who they are. That's why we've been working hard to protect these spaces." The mayor is determined to do everything he can to protect the capital's LGBTQ+ nightlife after the number of LGBTQ+ venues fell from 124 in 2006 to just 47 in 2017. Drag Race UK judge Graham Norton has apologised for comments he made about same-sex couples on Strictly Come Dancing. It follows an interview published this week in which the TV host said that he doesn't particularly need to see a man dancing with a man. "I understand that the reason the Strictly bosses might do it is coming from a good place, but it does kind of muddy the waters for the judges. If you've got 2 partners who can do lifts and men's bodies are different shapes, how would that work? You want to be able to compare like with like." However, speaking out on Twitter, the Graham Norton show host said, "Oh God, this is entirely my own fault. Ages ago, I gave a throwaway comment to a journalist who wanted me to slag off Strictly. Clever Clogs remembered and now looks so sorry. Big up at Nicole Adams OBE and her partner." Responding to Graham's clarification, Nicola tweeted, "Don't worry about it, I'm certainly not." Olympian Nicola Adams and professional dancer Katja Jones will be Strictly's first same-sex pairing when the new show airs later this autumn, a format change that led to over 200 Ofcom complaints. Oh, Karen. The police department in Newark, New Jersey has opened conversations about how to help officers address people who are transgender or gender non-binary more respectfully. Cops could start each stop with a question: "How would you like me to address you?" An idea that acting Newark Deputy Chief Brian O'Hara was receptive to. He said it could be an easy, quick addition to the training officers currently undergo. The City Police Department already laid out a policy last year about how to interact with people who are transgender during stops. It was the first in the state to do so, and the guidelines were written after several community meetings. O'Hara said he wanted LGBTQ training for officers to be incorporated with other forms of training and not a specialised programme. The culture of police departments is changing. About 500 new cops have been hired in the last 5 years, he said. Brian Holmes, who has been a Newark cop for about 2 years, is one of those new hires, who introduced himself as a black gay man, is the new police liaison for the LGBTQ community and the department. I'm looking forward to working with you all to be more involved in the community, to create a safe space for everyone, for members of the LGBTQ community, Holmes said. Now this is a step in the right direction. That's the gist this week. I'm Nine. Thank you for watching.